All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about the identity shift that changed how I got clients. The overview is the intro. There are 3 levels, what each level looks like on social media, making this shift, and it's what to do. So, identity is the story we tell ourselves about who we are. Change the story, change everything. And it works for everything. For the first 2 years of running Drvizuals, I thought getting more clients meant getting better at what I did. Better photos, better video, better editing, more gear, more skills. So that's what I chased. I invested in the craft. So that's what I chased. I invested in the craft. I invested in studying. I practiced, and my work did get better. And the clients pretty much barely changed. Some types of inquiries, same types of inquiries, same budget conversations, same feeling of starting from scratch every month. It wasn't until I made one important shift, not in my skills, not in my prices, not in my portfolio, that everything changed. And that shift was internally. It was about who I decided I was. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what that shift was, why it works, and how you can make it, whether you're just starting out or you've been at this for years and feel stuck at a ceiling that you cannot explain. If you guys are new here, my name is Danny. I run Drvizuals. I help photographers, filmmakers, and creatives build content that turns into clients. And this is probably the most practical identity conversation you're going to have or hear, because I'm not going to talk about mindset in a way that floats in the air. I'm going to show you exactly how identity shows up in your content, in your pricing, in your positioning, and the kind of clients that actually find you. So let's get right into it. There are 3 levels. You will always act in accordance with your self-concept, whether that concept is accurate or not. What identity actually means in business. When I say identity, I don't mean your personality. I don't mean your vibe or your aesthetic or your brand colors. I mean the answer to one very specific question that lives somewhere underneath everything we do. That question is, what kind of person am I in this space? Because that answer, whether you said it out loud or not, is running every decision you make. What you charge, what you say in a discovery call, what you put your content in, whether you post it at all, whether you pitch that client or talk to yourself out of it. Your actions don't come from your strategy. They come from your self-concept. And for most photographers and filmmakers, the self-concept is the operating system at the wrong level. Level 1, the hobbyist. The hobbyist identity. I want to be clear, there is nothing wrong with being a hobbyist. Some of the greatest work in the world comes from people who never tried to monetize it. But if you're trying to build a business and your identity is still at this level, it will sabotage everything. The hobbyist identity sounds like this internally. I'm just someone who loves taking photos or doing video. I don't want to come across as pushy. I don't want people to think I'm only in it for the money. I'm not sure I'm good enough to charge that much. I'll just see what happens. On the outside, it looks like underpricing. No clear offer, content that showcases the work but never asks for anything, a portfolio site with no call of action, DMs that apologize for even existing. If any of that lands, it's not a strategy problem, it's an identity problem. Level 2, the professional. This is where a lot of people get to and feel like they've arrived because compared to level 1, it's a massive upgrade. The professional has rates, has a process, has contracts, delivers on time, does good work consistently, treats it like a job. And clients respect that. The professional gets paid, the professional stays busy, but the professional also has a ceiling. And the ceiling is this: the professional is still waiting to be hired, they're still reacting to inquiries, they're still justifying the rates instead of setting them, they're still one slow month away from panic. The professional identity sounds like, I do great work, I want people to recognize that, I need to build my portfolio more, I need more testimonials. Once I have enough proof, the right clients will find me. Still waiting, still reactive, still defined by what other people decide about them. Level 3, the authority. The authority identity, and this is where the real shift happens. The authority doesn't wait to be found. The authority creates the conditions under which the right clients find them. The authority doesn't justify their rates. They attract people who already understand the value before the conversations. The authority doesn't post content hoping someone notices. They build content that educates, positions, pre-sells, so that by the time someone reaches out, the sale is mostly done. The authority identity sounds like this: I know something that my ideal client needs. I know how to help them in a way that most people in this space can't. I'm not asking for permission to be seen as valuable. I'm demonstrating value and letting the right people self-select. That's fundamentally different operating system, and it changes every external result. The content you make, the clients you attract, the prices you can hold, the leads that come in. What each level looks like on social media. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. How identity shows up in your content. I want to make this concrete because identity isn't abstract when you see it in the actual content people make. Let me walk you through this, what each level looks like on social media, and I want you to be honest with yourself as you go through this, because most people see themselves in more than one level, and that's okay. The hobbyist content is beautiful and passive. It shows the work, galleries, final images, reels of finished footage, maybe a soft caption about the emotion of the shot. It says, look what I made, and people do look, they like it, they save it, they say it's beautiful in the comments, and then they move on because there was no invitation, no reason to act, no signal that this person could solve their specific problem. Hobbyist content builds an audience of admirers, but not clients. Professional content adds context. It shows the work, explains the processes behind the scenes. I edited this, what I was going for, client testimonials before and after. It says, look what I made, and here's the proof I'm good at this. This is better. This builds trust. People see the craft, they see the process, they start to understand that you know what you're doing, but it's still reactive. It's still proof seeking. It's still asking, do you believe me yet? Professional content builds an audience of people who respect you, but aren't sure if you're the specific answer to their specific problem. Now, authority content leads with the problem. It speaks directly to the person who has a specific need. It shares a point of view. It teaches something. It challenges the assumption. It names the pain in the right person, immediately recognizing it. It says, I understand your world. I know what you're dealing with, and here's how to think about it. That kind of content doesn't just get watched. It gets shared with the person who needs it. It gets saved. It gets returned to. It gets someone to DM you saying, this is exactly what I needed to hear. How do I work with you? Authority content builds an audience of potential clients. People who have problem, who now believe you understand the problem better than anyone else they found. A real example from my work. When I was building the content acquisition system for clients at Drvizuals, one of the biggest unlocks was this exact shift. A client was posting consistently, good work, great process, content, real effort, but the leads were dry. We looked at their content together. Every single post was saying, look what I made, or here's the proof why I'm good. None of it was speaking to the business owner who needs the work. None of it was naming their problem. None of it was positioning my client as the person who specifically solves that problem. We rebuilt the content mix. Same person, same skill level, same camera, different identity, operating the content. With 6 weeks, the quality of the inquiries changed completely. Not volume, quality. People coming in already understanding the value, already pre-sold on the approach, already asking, when can we start? Instead of, how much do you charge? And that's what identity does to leads. Making the shift. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. You don't have to wait to feel like an authority. Here's the thing I want to address directly, because I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, I can't show up as an authority because I'm not one yet. I need more experience first. I need more clients. I need more proof before I can speak like I know things. That's the professional identity talking. And it's a trap, because you will always be able to find someone with more experience, more clients, more proof. There's no finish line where you finally have enough to start showing up differently for yourself. The authority identity isn't about claiming to know everything. It's about showing up as someone who has thought deeply about something that matters to your client. You don't need 10 years of experience to have a point of view. You need honesty, specificity, and willingness to share what you actually think, not what you think people want to hear. The 4 content types that build authority. Let me give you the exact 4 content types that shift your position from professional to authority. These are the 4 I use, the 4 I build into every content system I build for clients. Type 1, the opinion piece. You take a position on something in your industry that most people either avoid or default to the safe answer on. Not controversial for the sake of it, but generally what you believe, say it clearly and directly. Here's why I think most brand photography is boring. And this is what to do instead. That kind of specificity repels some people and magnetically attracts others. And the ones it attracts are exactly who you want. Type 2, the problem breakdown. You take a pain your ideal client has, something they're frustrated by, confused about, or just stuck on, and you break it down with clarity. Now, not here's how to take better photos, but here's why your current content isn't converting clients even if it looks professional. And then you explain the mechanism, the root cause, and the thing they haven't seen yet. The process reveal. Not just behind the scenes of a shoot, behind the scenes of how you think. What decisions you made and why. Why you almost did what you almost did differently. What the client needed that wasn't obvious at first. This is not a tutorial, it's a window into your judgment, into how you think. And judgment is what clients are actually paying for. Type 4, the direct result story. A specific client, a specific problem they came to you with, a specific outcome. Not a vague testimonial, a story with stakes, tension, and resolution. The most powerful conversion content you can make, and most people never make it because they haven't thought through how to sell a story in a way that puts the client's transformation at the center, not your skills. How to start showing up as an authority today. So, what do you actually do tomorrow morning? Not eventually, tomorrow. Step 1, write down the 3 things you believe about photography, filmmaking, or content creation the most people in your space either don't say or actively say the opposite of. These are the authority angles. Each one is a video or a post. Step 2, write down 3 most common problems your ideal client comes to you with, not they need photos, specific problems. They've been using stock photography and making their brand look generic. They've been creating content, but none of it's leading to inquiries. Those specific problems are your content pillars. Step 3, audit your last 10 pieces of content. For each one, ask, is this saying, look what I made, here's proof I'm good at? Or, I understand a problem, and here's how I think about it. Count each type. The ratio tells you exactly what identity is running your content right now. The shift, the ratio, not all at once. One piece of authority content this week, then 2, then it becomes default. The identity shift doesn't happen in a moment. It happens in the accumulation, showing up differently, repeatedly, until the new self-concept becomes the one that runs everything. So what to do next? Let's bring this home. The reason I was stuck for 2 years wasn't my skill level, it was my identity level. I was doing professional work with the hobbyist level self-concept, and the market responded to self-concepts and not the work. When I made this shift, when I started showing up as someone who knew something valuable, who had a specific point of view, who spoke directly to the problems of my ideal clients we're living with, the leads changed. Not because I got better at photography, because I got clearer on who I was in relation to the people I was trying to help. That small shift is available to you right now. Not when you're more experienced, not when you have more clients, now. With what you already know. So, if you want help making this shift a way that's mapped to your specific niche, your specific client, and your specific goals, that's exactly what we do at Drvizuals. We build the concept system, we find the authority angles, we create the pipeline that brings the right people to you consistently. The link is a strategy call and it's down below. Let's figure out your specific shift together. If you really like this, subscribe if this landed for you. Share it with a creative or a friend who is stuck at a ceiling that they can't explain. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.